Hello and welcome to Mirror's Edge 2. I'm Brennan Letkeman, and this is a highly experimental thing that I've never done before, so bear with me. I wanted to do a walking tour, or a running tour in this case, a walking tour of architecture in video games. There are 3 caste systems in the city. This is the lowest tier, and we'll be moving our way through the mid and ultimately to the high tier areas. Things I want you to notice as we progress, just note the vegetation or lack thereof, and also how much HVAC and how much we're utilizing rooftops for different things. Also surfaces, not only just for the difference, you know, in the gameplay, but like what are we running on, what is around us, what kind of materials are we building these places out of. So, we'll begin here. This is the low caste area. We've got a lot of concrete, a lot of HVAC. A lot of metal gantry and grating. These areas are just generally not utilized very well. I mean, they are in the industrial sense. Like, there's a lot of stuff up here. We've got a lot of gravel. I'm not gonna make that. There is indeed a lot of stuff, but not a lot of civilian usage. This would be mostly like maintenance. I'm gonna have to wayfind. I should have made a better map. There's a security team I'm going to ignore. Let's go this way. Oh, another one. Wow. Don't you know I'm trying to run a tour? Come on. Solar panels, as you can see, a lot of HVAC. Come on. That is not a door I can enter. Huge billboards. Come on. Just throwing off the building. Okay, whatever. I'm trying to do a tour. This is the city map. We're actually trying to go this way. Let's go back around. So, nice subway tile here. Big typography. I mean, the graphic design direction for Mirror's Edge has always been infamous. Oh. Other things to notice residentially, very dense. We have these sort of apartments that are all crammed together, very efficient, sure, maybe a bit soulless. We have a lot of concrete parkway or stairwells, and oh, hello. Maintenance corridors. I mean, Mirror's Edge, as a play on architecture, has always been about maintenance corridors. We're existing in these spaces in between spaces. We'll see that a lot. I probably won't take you there because they're not super interesting to look at. But there's the various sort of safe house hideaways. And they're very much about the efficient use of the neglected spaces that exist in a city. So this is the transition into the mid-class area. You'll notice already different materials. We have glass steps, glass walkway. You know, the banisters are different. We have more logos. Our HVAC has suddenly become streamlined and glowing for some reason. These nice, clean white boxes. Presumably doing whatever your air return stuff is. These cool panels that flip around. We'll see a lot of other utilization differences. We have these kind of galleries and offices, higher class citizens in the NPCs themselves. They don't really do anything, they're just sort of people that are decorations, I guess. But they too can tell the story. So, the roofing itself, as you can see, you know, a lot more glass, it's a lot slicker. Our HVAC is blue, we've kind of hidden it away in these rooms. More gallery people. Got these huge monorails that go across. This is the first class that has sort of valets or butler type. A lot of clubs. So if I had to classify sort of like the three relationships between areas, you'd have sort of the worker class, big typography again. You'd have that sort of worker class, you'd have the like leisure entertainment class, and as we move towards the luxury, you'll see the tastes sort of change for like what leisure is or what the priorities are for it. I never know how to get around here. Come on. Maintenance corridors are still clean. We have more walled off stuff. We have a lot more concrete panels. Got cleaner robots inside these big galleries. Nice desks. Ooh. Okay. Might not like that. That grapple is new to Mirror's Edge 2. Got these signs. Again, much neater, tucked away maintenance. You know, they're using glass and they're using metals and panels and things to hide stuff. Just much nicer. So fashion.
It's that runner. You there?
Again, still on a tour. I've got these nice fountains, huge ponds. Oh, you guys are in my way. So the easiest way, incidentally, to get rid of people is just to kill yourself and respawn. And now hopefully we won't be disturbed as I talk about the Bryson building, which is one of my favorites in this area. Oof, there we go. So it's this building coming up here. Ah,
They're willing to do a delivery.
I'll talk about it from around the corner where they can't see me. The Bryson building is one of my favorites. So we have this huge indoor-outdoor paradigm where we're on the outside, but then this lobby... we have this lobby here. You have an elevator and some like lobby furniture. My lighting engine is going crazy. What the heck? The lighting is done all real time, so the old one is baked. Oh, there's more. They can't see me. If we just hold really still. The first game, all the lighting was baked, and it looks gorgeous, way ahead of its time. This one is running the Frostbite Engine, which is all real time, so there is a day-night cycle. You saw as we, started off, it was sort of dusky, now it's morning. It only moves when we move, which is an interesting thing. So as we stand here, like, we'll never see the... What is that? It's usually pretty stable. The time of day only moves when we move, so if we stand here, we'll never see the sun time-lapse. But anyway, Bryson building. So here's a lobby. There's like a desk over there for reception. We have the elevator and some, like, I don't know, seating area stuff. But it's all technically outside. It's just shadowed in this huge facade and extra...
See the lead.
Oh, sorry. Pop. Where'd you guys go? You've got these big stairs. So this would be like more of an interior area because we've got glass surrounding us, but... Oof. These stairs aren't really meant to be traversed, they're just sort of there. So, two big reasons. Like, I think, architecturally we can talk about these indoor-outdoor spaces as cool parts of the city, as like, conscientious design. Obviously... Ooh, okay. Fine, you could have grabbed that. Obviously, for a free-running game, you want to have a lot of open areas where you can transition in and out of spaces like that. Let's go to the other side. So it is something for the game design itself, but I think architecturally it's also notable. It also maybe talks about the temperature of the city. Obviously for a place like Calgary, it gets way too cold to have indoor-outdoor buildings like that. So, we're a very contained, even our plus 15 system, we're a very contained indoor city. Also, fun fact, this is the first time I've ever heard my computer wind up like this. It's actually genuinely hot in here. This is a big mall area. Forgot to mention, it's one of the emptier ones. It's not super interesting. And here we are in the high class system, or high class area. Interesting thing to note, the first major foliage we have, and more residential areas. So before, like, we had a lot of clubs and sort of like entertainment areas, malls and restaurants and things, and we have a lot more residential here. We see the same kind of valet guy. Also, weird thing about this game, 0 toilets. So the only place that I found in this entire game, or entire city, that even references having a toilet is the museum. Has a men and women sign on the doors. You can't go in there or anything, but those are the only bathrooms, like, anywhere. You'll have these residential spaces, and they'll have kitchens like this, and you'll have, you know, like kind of laid out, here's a front entryway with some, I don't know, IKEA storage, and we'll have interior spaces, living room, big TV, stairs. This could have been a bedroom, I guess. We'll see bedrooms in other apartments, but then no bathrooms.
Is this thing inverting my voice, or does it have a voice of its own? Oh, okay. Delivery assignment available.
Here's like another apartment. I do like how these apartments are all laid out. They're all sort of, here's a bedroom. So we have a nice bedroom. Here we go. We have a bathroom. And there's a shower in there. Oh, here's a door even. There's a shower in here, but no toilet. It's so weird. I don't know what the dystopian future, like, there's no lore or anything about it. There's just no toilets in any of these areas. Anyway. Again, it's sort of half game design, half city building thing. The apartments really weave into each other nicely, which is great for both free running as a flow, you know, oriented sport, and also just like, it's cool. I like that they're sort of built around each other and interested in each other that way. It's almost like high class social housing. Oof. Got these huge tarps. More sort of like half indoor outdoor spaces. We've got these big... Oh, more HVAC. So again, their HVAC very clean, very tidy. The rooftop utilization is mostly garden. Like there's not a lot of actual rooftop in the industrial sense. We have mostly decks and big tensile structures like this. Trees, obviously, are a big factor for the high class. There is sort of a lore for that. One of the comments in the very last level, which is like the highest class, fanciest tower, where is it? The Shard. It's on fire, it should be. Oh, that one. So in the Shard, there's huge trees, and Faith comments on how that's such a luxury. And here we end the tour in one of my favorite places in the game, which is this deck. And specifically like these white trees and this little like Zen garden. Ah, I could just sit here forever. Again, indoor outdoor, so we have like chandeliers and very indoor feeling things. Got these huge cube sort of sculptures. You'll notice I use fabrics a lot to break up hard lines. And that's everywhere, like even in the safe houses and things, they'll use a lot of fabrics and curtains. Fancy lady. There's another garden space. It's like nice fountains. A lot of seating areas. You can imagine their kind of life of luxury. Oops. Life of luxury, but less indulgent in a way. Like there's a certain refinement to this side of the luxury, in a way that the clubs and things. Here's another runner. So the underground is aesthetically underground. They're very noticeable that way. But I wonder if there's sort of like a very subtle commentary on the high class actually being more sort of sophisticated than the indulgence of the middle classes. I don't know. Maybe I'm reaching. This is pretty much the end of the tour. I wanted to keep it short and neat. So we have yachts and luxury bits over here. Speaking of plus 15s, this is sort of a Skywalk thing. It's actually a bridge between two areas. But really utilizing that rooftop space for actual living instead of just sort of arbitrary bridgeness. These rooftops are more peaceful, I find. I wonder if there's something to be said about the low class rooftops being very industrial. Like they're very utilitarian and sort of, I mean, grimy and sludgy and whatever, that's fine. But like the working class is very blue collar and utilitarian, and then the middle class is very hedonistic and indulgent, and then the higher class is very sophisticated. It's like actual maybe Zen or solace oriented. It's a lot more restful. I don't know. I do know they're pretty. This is sort of the end of the tour. I'd like to do other ones on this game and also other games. My intention, if I had one for the series, is just to do like a different game every time. Obviously, like Dishonored 2 is a huge contender. That's sort of what spawned this whole idea. But there's a lot of game cities and a lot of maybe even ones that you wouldn't have considered. Thanks for watching. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm glad you're here for the ride.